Hi, everyone. Welcome to our last open session of Module 6. My name is Arlette Yvonne Macedo Ortega, and I'm very glad to be here in this last session of Module 6. I hope that you are all right at home, and let's start now. In today's session, guys, we are going to see how to conjugate the verbs in the third person of singular. We'll do some exercises about vocabulary to describe physical appearance. We'll also see possessive adjectives, vocabulary of places in a city, and vocabulary to describe a place. So now let's start and let's get the ball rolling. Let's see first the conjugation of verbs in the third person of singular. Remember that in the forum, in the integrative forum, you have to introduce someone in the class. For doing that, you have to conjugate the verbs in the third person of singular. And that's the reason why it's very important to revise this topic. So for that, I have some links that will help you to get some practice with the conjugation of verbs in present simple in the third person of singular. Remember that in the present simple, guys, we conjugate verbs in the first person of singular with I. We also conjugate the verbs with you, with we and they. In affirmative, they remain the same. But what happened when we conjugate the verbs in the third person of singular? I mean with he, she, or it. Remember that we have to make some changes in the verb ending. So let's start with the first link. In this link, guys, you will see some exercises that will ask you to conjugate the verbs in the third person of singular. So I'm going to post the link in the chat so that you can click on it. You can do it along with me if you want. So here it is in the chat. But remember that if you couldn't attend this session, you will be able to see the recording session that I will post in the forum of news. So it will be there after this session. So I'm going to give a click to the link and we'll see what is going on. In this exercise, guys, you will be able to practice the conjugation of verbs in the third person of singular. As I was telling you, it is very important to know the rules of how to conjugate the verbs in the third person of singular in affirmative. So the rules are these ones. Remember that most of the verbs, when we conjugate the verbs with he, she, and it in affirmative, most of them have the S ending. For example, I talk, he talks. I drive, she drives. As you can see, we only add an S to the verbs. This rule only applies for affirmative. Remember that. The second one, the second ending is ES. But remember that when we add this ending is because the verbs end with double S, X, SH, CH, or O. For example, I fix, she fixes. I do, it does. Look at this. If the verb ends with X, you need to add ES. If the verb ends with O, you also need to add ES. In affirmative, present simple. And the last ending is IES. If a verb ends with Y and before a Y there is a consonant, you have to change the consonant into an I and add es. For example, I tidy, he tidies. I play, he plays. Look at this. This is the last rule. But what if I have a verb that ends with Y, but before Y there is a vowel, not a consonant? If you have a case in which a verb ends with Y and before Y there is a vowel, you only add an S. For example, here, the verb play. If you look at the verb play, it ends with Y, but before Y there is a vowel. So if you have a verb like this and you want to conjugate it with he, she, it, you only have to add an S to the verb. Like this one, play, he plays. In this exercise, we have to conjugate the verbs that we have here in the first person of singular. We have to conjugate them using the rules that we have here, the rules that I have just explained. So let's check the first one. The first verb is I walk, and then when we conjugate it in with he, she, or it, we only add an S to the verb. But what about the second one? The second one, as you can see, ends with O. So according to the rules that we have here at the top, we have to add es to the verb. So we say he goes. What about dance? Dance, as you can see, dance ends with only S. She dances. We only add an S to this verb. And we pronounce it like she dances. Speak. Speak, I speak, he speaks. What about study? I study. Look at this verb. It ends with Y, but before Y we have a consonant. So according to the third rule that we have at the top, we have to change the Y for I and add es. So the pronunciation of this verb is studies, studies. She studies. I study and she studies. What about enjoy? Enjoy. Look at this. This verb ends with Y, but before Y we have a vowel. So if you have a verb like this, we only add an S when we conjugate it with he, she, or it. So we say he enjoys. Enjoys. I fix. This verb ends with X. And what happens when a verb ends with X? When a verb ends with X, we conjugate it with ES. For example, he fixes. He fixes. Next, we have jump. Jump, we only add an S to this verb when we conjugate it with the third person of singular, like in this case, it. So we say it jumps. What about the verb wash? The verb wash ends with SH. So if we have a case in which a verb ends with this ending, we add ES. For example, I wash, he washes. I found. In this case, we only add an S to this verb. She finds. Next, I marry. Look at this. We have a Y, and before a Y, there is a consonant. So we change the consonant, the Y for I, and we say marries. He marries. Keep, for example, keep a secret. She keeps. We only add an S to this verb. Love. We also only add a verb, an S to this verb. So we say it loves, she loves, he loves. Bother, the verb bother. This verb means molestar. So in Spanish, we only add an S to this verb and he say he bothers. Sing. This verb, guys, also need an S when we conjugate it with he, she, it. So we say she sings. Lie. Lie means mentir. It also means recostarse. And what happened to this verb? We only add an S in affirmative when we conjugate it with he, she, it. What about catch? Catch ends with S, with CH. And in the third person of singular, when we conjugate it, we add ES, like catches. Catches. She catches the train every day at 5, for example. Now, in the second exercise, you have to choose the correct form of the verb. So let's see the first sentence. Samantha likes or Samantha likes playing tennis. Remember that Samantha can be replaced by she. So it's the third person of singular, and we need an S to the verb. Samantha likes. So the correct answer for this sentence is likes. Samantha likes playing tennis. What about letter B? We make or we makes delicious cakes. In this case, guys, is we make because we is not the third person of singular. So we don't need to add an S to the verb. What about letter C? Uncle Tom. Remember that Uncle Tom can be replaced by personal pronoun he. So we are talking about the third person, it's singular. We need an S to the verb. So Uncle Tom feeds the dogs every day. And in letter D, we have a question, a yes, no question in present simple. Remember, guys, that we use do and does for questions in present simple. So you might wonder when to use do and when to use does. Remember that we use does for he, she, and it. And we use do for I, you, we, and they. So what about in this question? Do they live in London? Yeah, we have the subject is they, so we need do. Next, my brother eat or my brother eats a lot of hamburgers. In this case, guys, we are talking about a habit that my brother has. So in this case, I'm talking about my brother. He's the third person of singular, so we need an S to the verb. My brother eats. You always come or you always comes to class early. So in this case, guys, you always come. And why? Because we are not talking about a person in the third, a person in the third person of singular. We are not talking about he, she, or it. In this case, we are using you. So we don't need an S to the verb. The same happened with letter G. They all work. We don't need an S to the verb. Next, the giant panda. The giant panda is an animal, right? So we are talking about the third person of singular in this case. I need an S to the verb. The giant panda lives in China. Foxes. Foxes live or foxes lives. We are talking about foxes. Remember that these are animals. These are animals in plural. So we don't need an S to the verb. The earth move or the earth moves around the sun. In this case, guys, we are talking about the earth, and the earth is the third person of singular. We are talking about the earth. And this is a fact. Remember that present simple is used for facts, hobbies, habits, and routines. And if I say this in Spanish, la tierra gira alrededor del sol, estoy hablando de un hecho. El presente simple en inglés se utiliza para los hechos, recuerden, para hablar de rutinas, para hablar de hábitos y para hablar de pasatiempos. En este caso estoy hablando de un hecho. Y bueno, la tierra es tercera persona del singular, por lo tanto sí tiene que llevar la S el verbo. Por lo tanto digo, the earth moves around the sun. What about letter K? In letter K, you I'm conjugating my verb in negative. So for negative, I need auxiliaries don't or doesn't. Remember that doesn't is only for he, she, and it. So in this case, I need to use don't. You don't often go to the gym. Next, Michael doesn't drive o Michael doesn't drives to work. Recuerden que cuando hay un auxiliar, ya sea en la forma negativa o en la forma de pregunta, no necesitamos conjugar el verbo, aunque sea tercera persona. El verbo se queda intacto. Por lo tanto, en esta oración, la respuesta correcta es drive. Michael doesn't drive to work. What about in letter M? In letter M, I am talking about a yes, no question in present simple. So my subject is he. So I say, do he? No, it's not correct. Does he? Yes, because does is used for he, she, and it. Does he know how to swim? Next, Lisa and Nancy often jog. Lisa and Nancy often jogs. In this case, guys, I'm talking about two people, Lisa and Nancy, and I can replace them by they. Yo puedo decir en lugar de Lisa y Nancy, puedo decir they, y está correcto. Siempre y cuando el they lo utilicemos después de sus nombres, porque hay veces que empiezan oraciones con el pronombre they y yo no sé a quién se refieren. Pero si ustedes ya mencionaron antes a Lisa y a Nancy y después las quieren volver a mencionar, ahí sí pueden volver a poner el pronombre personal they, porque ya sé a quién se están refiriendo. Pero en este caso, bueno, tenemos los nombres. Lisa y Nancy son ellas, por lo tanto mi verbo no necesita la S. The same happens here. These children, recuerden que children es una palabra en plural, que significa niños o hijos. These children ride or these children ride their bikes to school every day. This case, guys, we're talking in plural, so we don't need an S to the verb. So the correct answer is ride. Next, my sister never tidies her bedroom. Vean que aquí tenemos dos posibilidades. Tidies con Y y tidies con IES. De acuerdo a la regla que tenemos arriba, tidy, vean, es un verbo que termina con Y y antes de la Y lleva una consonante. Para ese tipo de verbos, cuando los conjugamos en tercera persona, o sea, con he, she, or it, recuerden que tenemos que agregarle IES. So we say, my sister never tidies her bedroom. Does your brother run or does your brother runs fast? Bueno, les acabo de comentar hace un momento que cuando en una oración, ya sea en la forma interrogativa o forma negativa, tenemos un auxiliar, el verbo ya no se va a alterar. Entonces, no importa si es tercera persona, el verbo no se altera. Por lo tanto, aquí tendríamos que poner run. Does your brother run fast? And finally, you and your mom don't or doesn't cook. In this case, guys, we are talking about you and your mom. ¿Quiénes son tú y tu mamá? Pues ustedes. Entonces, no es tercera persona del singular. Por lo tanto, necesito don't. You and your mom don't cook. Y aquí en este ejercicio, el propósito principal de este ejercicio es que ustedes, en primero, repasen las reglas de conjugación de los verbos en tercera persona del singular en afirmativo. Recuerden que estas reglas que están aquí viendo en pantalla solamente aplican para la conjugación de verbos en afirmativo en tercera persona. Y en tercera persona del singular, ¿a qué me refiero? Ah, pues con he, she or it, solamente para esos casos. Y bueno, vamos a darle clic a este ejercicio y veamos. Bueno, al final de esta sesión, ustedes en una aplicación que tengo que se llama Padlet, me van a hacer unas oraciones en tercera persona. Pueden escribir a alguien de su familia. Simplemente es un ejercicio para darme cuenta si ustedes están conjugando bien los verbos. Bueno, vamos a regresar a la presentación. Y tenemos otro ejercicio de conjugación de verbos en la tercera persona del singular. Igual, la liga se las voy a pegar aquí en el chat, pero recuerden que esta presentación también la van a encontrar en el foro de novedades en la plataforma por si quieren consultar de nuevo las ligas. Bueno, les voy a pegar aquí en el chat la liga, vamos a darle clic y veamos qué tenemos. Bueno, como ustedes se fijan, volvemos a repetir las conjugaciones, las terminaciones de los verbos conjugados en tercer persona del singular, o sea, con he, she, and it. Veamos la primera, es. We add this ending for verbs that finish with ch, sh, double s, x, or o. IES is used for verbs that have a consonant and a Y. So we drop the Y and add IES. And finally, S is for the majority of most of the verbs have this ending when you conjugate it in affirmative with he, she, or it. And in this exercise, what you have to do, guys, is to conjugate these verbs in the third person of singular. So let's see the first one. Teach, teaches. Supply, supplies. Pass, passes. Add, adds. Apply, applies. Study, studies. Empty, empties. Do, does. Carry, carries. Watch, watches. Love, loves. Ease, eases. Swim, swims. Walk, walks. Fly, flies. Follow, follows. Cry, cries. Think, thinks. Wash, washes. Fax, faxes. Lose, loses. Enjoy, enjoys. Tell, tells. See, sees. Visit, visits. Try, tries. Lock, locks. Fix, fixes. March, marches. Ask, asks. Wonder, wonders. Say, says. Play, plays. Catch, catches. Sit, sits. Dance, dances. Long, longs. Go, goes. Reply, replies. Feel, feels. Work, works. Match, matches. Okay, so we have already conjugated all of this verb in the third person of singular, guys. Let's give a click on finish. And let's see. Wow, we got it. We got it right. So it's very important to know these rules, especially when you are talking about someone in singular. I really hope that you find this exercise helpful, especially when you introduce someone in the learning forum, in the integrative forum, sorry, not in the learning forum. In the integrative forum, remember that your fourth entry consists of describing, introducing a person to us, to your classmate and I. So now let's go back. Let's go back to the presentation. Let's go back to the presentation and see what else do we have today. In today's session, guys, we also going to see vocabulary to describe physical appearance. Remember that in the project, there is a section in which, well, there is a question in which you have to describe yourselves in terms of physical appearance. The typical question that asks you to describe yourself in terms of physical appearance is, what do you look like? What do you look like is a question that asks you to describe yourself in terms of physical appearance. So let's see what do we have in this exercise. So I'm going to paste the link in the chat as well. I'm gonna give a click and I'm going to share. Okay, guys, here we have different people with different physical characteristics. So the instruction says, drag and drop the adjectives under the picture. But first, let's read the possibilities, the options that we have here. The first one is straight. Next, bead. Next one, eyebrows, wavy, blonde, mustache, belt, and curly. A straight, guys, as you know, is an adjective that we use to describe our hair. Bead. Bead is a special feature. Not everybody has a bead. So bead is a special feature. And remember the pronunciation of bead. It's not beer, because beer es oso. It's not beer, because beer es cerveza. It's bead. And bead means barba. Then we have eyebrows. Eyebrows mean cejas. Wavy means is a style of hair, is a shape of hair. Wavy means quebrado. Blonde means rubio. Mustache. Mustache is also a special feature. Not everybody has a mustache. Bigote. Belt. Belt is an adjective and means calvo. And curly. Curly means chino. When we are talking about hair, guys. So what about the first one? What can we say about the first guy? He has a beard. Okay, and the second, tell me about his hair. He has curly hair. Next one. She has wavy hair. Next, she has blonde hair. Next one. He has a mustache. Next, she has straight hair. Oops. Oh, wait. She has straight hair. Next one. He is bald. He is bald. And finally, this girl. She has thick eyebrows. She has thick eyebrows. As you can see, she has thick eyebrows. Now remember that when to use the verb be, is, am, or are, and when to use have or has. Cuando estamos hablando de un sustantivo, por ejemplo, cabello, cara, ojos, nariz, podemos utilizar el have. Y cuando estamos hablando estamos describiendo y usamos un adjetivo, cuando usamos un adjetivo solito, sin la compañía de un sustantivo, entonces utilizamos el verbo ser o estar. Por ejemplo, yo puedo decir, tengo cabello rubio, lo puedo decir, I have blonde hair. ¿Sí? Entonces, en esa oración yo estoy utilizando el verbo have. Pero, ¿qué pasa si yo nada más quiero decir soy rubia? Entonces, ya no utilizo el verbo have. Simplemente utilizo el verbo ser o estar y puedo decir I am blonde. ¿Ok? Eso es lo que ustedes tendrían que saber. Cuándo utilizar el have y cuándo utilizar el verbo ser o estar para hablar de apariencia física. Bueno, aquí tenemos un segundo ejercicio y dice, look at the pictures, then read the sentences carefully and decide if they are true or false. Okay, Lupita, don't worry. Welcome. Welcome to this session. So as you can see, guys, these two pictures are very, very similar to each other. But there are some characteristics that make them different. So you'll see, you are going to identify, you'll see the differences in these two pictures. Let's start with the first one. In picture one, the old man has brown eyebrows. So let's look at picture one. The old man, look at the old man, has brown eyebrows. Is it true or false? What do you think? In picture one, the old man has brown eyebrows. Is it true or false? If you can activate your microphone, you can paste the answer in the chat box. So any idea? I think it's false because as you can see, the eyebrows, his eyebrows look black, not brown. So in my opinion, it's false. What about picture two? The old man has white eyebrows. Yeah, it's true. Definitely it's true. In picture one, the boy has straight hair. Look at the boy. Does he have straight hair? No. So it's false. In picture one, the girl has blonde hair. Yeah, it's true. Next, in picture two, the boy has curly hair. No, it's false. In picture two, the girl has black hair. No, she has got brown hair, so it's false. In picture two, the man is bald and has got a mustache. In picture two, the man is bald and has got a mustache. Yeah, it's true. In picture one, the man is bald and has got a beard. The man is bald and has got a beard. Yeah, it's true. And now, guys, it says, write 3 sentences to describe someone. My best friend, for example, Flor has black and straight hair. She doesn't have a beard. She doesn't have curly hair. Can you describe someone in your family? ¿Alguien de tu familia podrías describir? ¿A quién podrías describir? Puedes describir a tu mejor amigo, a tu mamá, a tu papá, a tu hermano, a tu hermana, a tu hijo, a tu hija. Por ejemplo, aquí están describiendo a, bueno, mi mejor amigo, mi mejor amiga en este caso, Flor. But you can do the same, describing someone in your family or maybe a friend of yours. Any idea? I'm going to give you an example, my own example. I'm going to describe my sister. My sister's name is Janet. She has curly brown hair. She doesn't have big eyebrows. But she has a big mouth and prominent nose. That's it. I can also talk about her height. She is quite tall and slim. So my sister name's Janet. She has curly brown hair. She doesn't have thick eyebrows, but she has a big mouth and a prominent nose. She is quite tall and slim. Bueno, mi hermana, el nombre de mi hermana es Janet, tiene cabello chino y café. No tiene cejas pobladas, pero tiene una boca grande y una nariz prominente. Ella es bastante, no muy alta y delgada. Bueno, esa es una forma en la que ustedes pueden describir a alguien, que de hecho lo van a hacer en el foro de integración en la 4ª participación, si mal no recuerdo. Bueno, vamos a darle clic a este ejercicio y vamos a ver si las respuestas fueron correctas. Oh, aquí en la primera dice, in picture 1, the old man has brown eyebrows. Yo le puse false. Es que la verdad es que se le ven como negras, no se le ven café, pero bueno, la respuesta correcta era verdad, que sí tiene cejas cafés, pero bueno, yo no se las vi cafés, yo se las vi negras y por eso le puse false. Pero en todo lo demás estamos bien. Bueno, vamos a regresar a la presentación con el siguiente ejercicio. Voy a pegar la liga en el chat. Now here, guys, it's raining heavily. So I hope my internet connection doesn't fail. Anyway, I'm just continuing. So I'm going to give a click to the link that I have here in the chat. And let's see what do we have in this link. I'm going to share screen. And this is what we have in the link. Who is who? It says, read the descriptions and write the children's names. We have Alex, Mia, Lara, Marta, Martín, and Carla. Vean que este ejercicio es de inglés británico. Yo les comenté en la semana 1, si mal no recuerdo, que en inglés británico podemos manejar la estructura de has, got. Y esta estructura significa tener. Es lo mismo que has, pero en inglés británico se le aumenta la palabra got, has got, que significa tener. Alex has got short, straight hair and dark skin. His eyes are small and he has got a big smile. ¿Qué nos dice de Alex? Alex tiene cabello corto y lacio y tiene piel oscura. Sus ojos son pequeños y tiene una gran sonrisa. Entonces, ¿quién es Alex? His is dark, so I think this is Alex. ¿No? Nos dice que su piel es morena, su cabello es lacio, entonces es él. Bueno, vamos a ver la siguiente. Mia. Mia has got straight dark hair. She has got a flower on her head. And she feels happy. Entonces, vamos a ver. Mia has got straight dark hair. She has got a big pink flower on her head and she feels happy today. Ajá, entonces Mia tiene el cabello lacio y oscuro y tiene una flor rosa en la cabeza, lacio y oscuro, y tiene una flor rosa en la cabeza. Y se siente contenta hoy. Entonces, supongo que Mia es esta, porque tiene su cabello lacio, ¿ok? She is Mia. What about Lara? Lara's hair is blonde and curly. Her skin is pale and her eyes are small and she has got a big smile. Lara's hair is blonde. Miren, el cabello de Lara es rubio y chino. Su piel es pálida y sus ojos son pequeños, pero tiene una gran sonrisa. Entonces, ¿de quién estamos hablando? Pues me parece que estamos hablando de ella. She is Lara. Next one, Marta. Marta has got short red hair and pale skin. She's wearing a blue flower and she's very happy today. So Marta has got short red hair and pale skin. She's wearing a blue flower and she's very happy today. Vamos a ver, Marta tiene cabello corto y rojizo y tiene piel pálida. ella usa en este momento una flor azul y está contenta. Entonces, this is Martha. Martin has got short curly hair and pale skin. His eyes are small and he has got a big smile. He's got curly hair and pale skin. Okay, I think it's this one. He is Martin. And finally, we have Carla. Carla has got curly brown hair and brown face. She's wearing a nice blue ribbon. A nice blue ribbon. So, she is Carla. And that's it. Vean en este ejercicio lo más importante. ¿Qué podemos destacar de este ejercicio? Bueno, en primera, el uso del has o have y el uso del verbo ser o estar. Como yo les comenté, cuando utilizamos el verbo has o have, no importa si es inglés británico con has got o have got, o si es inglés americano con has o have, no importa. Lo más importante es que ustedes recuerden que cuando utilizamos el verbo have, siempre lo vamos a utilizar con un sustantivo. Por ejemplo, aquí estamos hablando del cabello. Estamos hablando de la piel. Cabello y piel son sustantivos, por lo tanto, sí necesito el verbo have. Pero, ¿qué pasa si solamente estoy hablando de un adjetivo? Solito. Entonces utilizo el verbo ser o estar. Por ejemplo, his eyes are small. Aquí estoy diciendo que sus ojos son pequeños. Sí, estoy hablando de un sustantivo solito, por lo tanto uso el verbo ser o estar. And he has got a big smile. Igual, estoy hablando de sonrisa. Sonrisa es un sustantivo, por lo tanto estoy utilizando el verbo has got, que en inglés americano es has, simplemente. Igual, en la parte de Mia tenemos el verbo has got dark hair. Estamos hablando de su cabello. Y tiene una flor rosa. Estamos hablando de una flor rosa. La flor también es sustantivo. Entonces, vean, este ejercicio nos sirve para saber cuándo utilizar el verbo have, cuándo utilizar el verbo ser o estar. Y también vemos el orden de los adjetivos en una oración. ¿Se acuerdan que en la primera semana les di una tabla en donde tenemos el orden de adjetivos? Bueno, pues en primer lugar nosotros tenemos el tamaño. Por ejemplo, estamos hablando del tamaño de tu cabello, primero tienes que decir el tamaño. Luego del tamaño, la forma de tu cabello y finalmente el color. Entonces, por ejemplo, aquí en el caso de Mía, primero mencionamos la forma y luego mencionamos el color. Y bueno, vamos a darle clic a este ejercicio. Y muy bien, we got it right. Bueno, vamos a regresar a la presentación y tenemos el siguiente tema, es adjetivos posesivos. Bueno, ¿para qué nos sirven los adjetivos posesivos? ¿Y cómo los utilizamos? Bueno, le voy a dar clic a la liga que ya les puse aquí en el chat y tenemos adjetivos posesivos. Vean, ¿cuáles son los adjetivos posesivos? Como ustedes saben, nosotros tenemos pronombres personales en inglés. ¿Cuáles son los pronombres personales? I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Los pronombres personales siempre los utilizamos con un verbo. Siempre. Por ejemplo, aquí en el chat les voy a poner un ejemplo. I am Arlet. Tengo mi pronombre personal, mi verbo, que es mi verbo ser o estar, y mi complemento. Entonces, ¿puedo utilizar otro verbo que no sea verbo estar? Sí, por ejemplo, I live in Toluca. ¿Sí? Entonces, los pronombres personales, recuerden que funcionan como sujeto en nuestra oración y siempre van a ir acompañados de un verbo. Ahora, ¿qué pasa con los adjetivos posesivos? Bueno, con los adjetivos posesivos, vamos a utilizarlos antes de un sustantivo. Por ejemplo, si yo estoy hablando de mi nombre, si yo estoy diciendo mi nombre, entonces, ¿cómo lo diríamos en inglés? Bueno, en inglés yo utilizaría el my name. ¿Sí? Estoy hablando de mi nombre. Recuerden que su mismo nombre lo indica, son adjetivos posesivos. My name. Pero si yo hablo de nuestra casa, entonces diría our house, nuestra. Si yo hablo de su nombre de ella, yo diría her name. Perdón, her name is. Su nombre es, por ejemplo, Carla. Her name is Carla. Entonces, ¿cuál es la regla para utilizar los adjetivos posesivos? Bueno, siempre van antes de un sustantivo. Siempre, siempre van antes de un sustantivo. Y nos indica posesión. Por ejemplo, mi casa, mi carro, mi familia, mis hijos, mis papás. Pero si estoy hablando de posesión de ella, digo su de ella, her car, su carro de ella. Sus papás de ella, her parents, sus hijos de ella, her children, su esposo, her husband. Y si es de él, por ejemplo, his. Y si es de mi perro, its. Bueno, nos queda un minuto de la primera parte de la sesión. Recuerden, podemos regresar a la segunda parte de la sesión con la misma liga. Y bueno, en este ejercicio que les estoy presentando en pantalla, tenemos adjetivos posesivos.